Shri Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 1, Observing the Armies of the Battlefield of Kurukshetra. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjay, after my son and the son of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? Purport: Bhagavad Gita is a widely read Tathik science summarized in the Gita Mahatmya. There it says that one should read Bhagavad Gita very synchronizingly with the help of a person who is devotee of Shri Krishna and try to understand it without personally motivated interpretation. The example of clear understanding is there in the Bhagavad Gita itself. In the way the teaching of understood by Arjuna, who heard the Gita directly from the Lord. If someone is fortunate enough to understand the Bhagavad Gita in that line of disciplic succession without motivated interpretation, then the surpasses all study of Vedic wisdom and all scripture of the world. One will find in the Bhagavad Gita all that is contained in other scripture, but the reader will also find things which are not to be found elsewhere. That is the specific standard of the Gita. It is the perfect science because it is directly spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. The topic discussed by Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya as described in the Mahabharata from the basic principle for this great philosophy. It is understood that this philosophy evolved on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. This, which is a scared place of pilgrimage from the immemorial time of the Vedic age. It was spoken by the Lord when he was present personally all on this planet for the guidance of mankind. The word Kurukshetra, a place where religious rituals are performed, is significant because on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present on the side of Arjuna. Dhritarashtra, the father of the Kauravas, was highly doubtful about the possibility of his son's ultimate victory. In his doubt, he inquired from his secretary Sanjaya, what did they do? He was confident that both his son and the son of his younger brother Pandu were assembled in that field of Kurukshetra for a determined engagement of the war. Still, his inquiry is significant. He did not want to compromise between the cousins and brother, and he wanted to be sure of the faith of his son on the battlefield. Because the battle was arranged to the fort at Kurukshetra, which is mentioned elsewhere in the Vedas as a place of worship, even for the denizens of heaven. Dhritarashtra became very fearful about the influence of the holy place on the outcome of the battle. He knew very well that this would influence Arjuna and the son of Pandu for favorably because by nature they were all virtuous. Sanjaya was a student of Vyasa, and therefore, by the mercy of Vyasa, Sanjay was able to envision the battlefield of Kurukshetra even while he was in the room of Dhritarashtra. And so Dhritarashtra asked him about the situation on the battlefield. Both the Pandavas and the sons of Dhritarashtra belong to the same family, but Dhritarashtra's mind is disclosed herein. He deliberately claimed only his son as Kauravas, and he separated the son of Pandu from the family heritage. One can thus understand the specific position of Dhritarashtra in his relationship with his nephew, the son of Pandu, as in the paddy field of unnecessary plant are taken out. So it is expected from the very beginning of this topic that in the religious field of Kurukshetra, where the father of religion Shri Krishna was present, the unwanted plant like Dhritarashtra's son Duryodhana and other would be wiped out, and the truly religious person headed by Yudhishthira would be established by the Lord. This is the significance of the word Dharma, Kurukshetra and Kurukshetra apart from their historical and Vedic importance. Text 2. Sanjaya said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the son of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words. Dhritarashtra was blind from birth. Unfortunately, he was also bereft of spiritual vision. He knew very well that his sons were equally blind in the matter of religion, and he was sure that they could never reach an understanding with the Pandavas, who were all pious since birth. Still, he was doubtful about the influence of the place of pilgrimage, and Sanjaya could understand his motive in asking about the situation on the battlefield. Sanjay wanted, therefore, to encourage the despondent king and thus assuring him that his sons were not going to make any sort of compromise under the influence of the holy place. Sanjay therefore informed the king that his son Duryodhana, after seeing the military force of Pandava, at once went to the commander-in-chief Dronacharya to inform him to the real position. Although Dronacharya is mentioned as the king, he still had to go to the commander on account of the seriousness of situation. He was therefore quite fit to be a politician, but Duryodhana diplomatic veneer could not disguise the fear he felt when he saw the military arrangement of the Pandavas. Text 3. O my teacher, behold the great army of the son of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent discipline, the son of Drupada. Duryodhana, a great diplomat, wanted to point out the defects of Dronacharya, the great Brahma, commander-in-chief. Dronacharya had some politician quarrel with King Drupad, the father of Draupadi, who was Arjuna's wife. As a result of this quarrel, Drupad performed a great sacrifice by which he received the benediction of having a son who would be able to kill Dronacharya. Dronacharya knew this perfectly well, and yet, as a liberal Brahma, he did not hesitate to impart all his military secret when the son of Drupada, Drishtamanya, was entrusted to him for military education. Now, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Drishtamanya took the side of Pandava, and it was he who arranged for their military phalanx. After having learned the art from Dronacharya, Duryodhana pointed out his mistake of Dronacharya so that he might be alert and uncompromising in the fighting. But this he wanted to point out also that he should not be similarly lenient in battle against the Pandava, who were also Dronacharya affectionate students. Arjuna especially was his most affectionate and brilliant student. Duryodhana also warned that such leniency in the fight would lead to defeat. Text 4. Here in this army are many heroic women equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna, great fighter like Yudhana, Virata, and Drupada. Answer. Even though Drishtadumanya was not a very important obstacle in the face of Dronacharya very great power in the military art. There were many other who were causes of fear. They are mentioned by Duryodhans as great stumbling block on the path of victory because each and every one of them was as formidable as Bhima and Arjuna. He knew the strength of Bhima and Arjuna, and thus he compared the other with them. Text 5. There are also great heroic powerful fighters like Dhrakshateku, Chekitanya, Kashiraja, Purjit, Saibya. Text 6. There are the mighty Yudhamanyu, the powerful Uttamya, the son of Subhadra and the son of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. Text 7. But for your information, O best of the Brahma, let me tell you about the captain who are especially qualified to lead my military force. Text 8. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Karpa, Avasthama, Vikrana, and the son of Somiddata, called Bhurishrava, who are also victorious in battle. Duryodhana mentioned the exceptional heroes in the battle, all of whom are very victorious. Vikrana is the brother of Duryodhana. Avasthama is a son of Dronacharya, and Sumadhati or Bhurishava is the son of the king of Bhalikas. Karna is the half brother of Arjuna, as he was born of Kunti before her marriage with King Pandu. Karpacharya twin sister married Dronacharya. Text 9. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kind of weapon and all are experienced in military science. As far as other are concerned like Jayadratha, Kartavarma and Salya are all determined to lay down their lives for Duryodhana's sakes. In other words, it is already concluded that all of them would die in the battle of Kurukshetra for joining the party of the sinful Duryodhana. Duryodhana was of course confident of his victory on account of above mentioned combined strength of his friends. Our strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas carefully protected by Bhima is limited. Herein an estimation of comparative strength is made by Duryodhana. He thinks that the strength of his armed force is immeasurable, being especially protected by the most experienced general grandfather Bhishma. On the other hand, the forces of the Pandavas are limited, being protected by a less experienced general Bhima, who is like a fig in the presence of Bhishma. Duryodhana was always envious of Bhima because he knew perfectly well that if he should die at all, he would only be killed by Bhima. But at the same time, he was confident of his victory on account of the presence of Bhishma, who was a far superior general. His conclusion that he would come out to the battle victorious was well ascertained.